What if there is a river that flows beneath the world? Not a river of earth and stone, but a river of memory. The ancients believed in such a river. They gave it names. Lethe, the river of forgetting. Mnemosyne, the river of remembering. They said, when you die, you drink from Lethe and forget who you were. Your name, your face, your pain, your joy. You walk again into life as if for the first time. Though your soul remembers. But the wise, the initiated, those few who remember even in death. They drink not from Lethe, but from Mnemosyne. And what they remember is not just their past lives, but the truth about life, the truth about death, the truth we forgot the moment we were born. This is not a myth, this is a map to something we once knew but now can only feel like a shadow behind the eyes. This is the story of the river beneath the world, of the wisdom the ancients carried, of what they believed happens after we die, and why they feared forgetting more than they feared death. Chapter 1. Lethe, the waters of forgetting. In ancient Greek thought, Lethe was not merely a river. It was a veil, a mercy, a forgetting so complete that the soul could be born again. To die, the ancients believed, was not to disappear. It was to enter the underworld, to walk its silent pathways. And there, among the roots of the earth, you would come to a river, the river of Lethe. And if you drank, you would forget who you had been. Your grief, your loves, your crimes. Everything that tethered your soul to the old life would be washed away. And so, unburdened, you could be born again. But forgetting comes with a cost, because with the pain goes the wisdom. With the name goes the lesson. With the sorrow goes the truth. The ancients feared this forgetting. Not because they loved their suffering, but because they believed the soul is here to remember. Chapter 2, Mnemosyne, the waters of memory. In the Orphic mysteries, the initiate was taught, avoid Lethe, seek Mnemosyne. Do not drink to forget. Drink to remember. Mnemosyne, named for the tightness of memory, was said to be the fountain from which truth could be known, and the one who drank would remember not only their lives, but the purpose behind them. This was not information. It was remembrance of the soul's origin, that we are not flesh that dies, but spirit that forgets. And so, in the tombs of those who followed the Orphic path, archaeologists have found golden tablets, thin inscriptions pressed into coins or leaves buried with the dead. On them were instructions. When you reach the river, do not drink from Lethe. Ask for Mnemosyne. Say, I am a child of earth and starry heaven. I belong to the divine. These were not metaphors. They were maps for the dead. Because the ancients believed death is not the end, it is a test. And the first question is, do you remember who you are? Chapter 3, The Myth of Er, Plato's vision of the soul's return. In the final pages of Plato's Republic, there is a strange and haunting tale. The story of Er, a soldier who died in battle. After 12 days, his body remained miraculously uncorrupted. And when his funeral began, he awoke, not as a man reborn, but as a witness to what lies beyond. Er tells of a place where souls are judged, where some ascend to the heavens, others descend into punishment. But all, after a time, return. And before their return, each soul chooses its next life. But most choose badly, because they have forgotten what matters. Only the few, those who remember the patterns of justice, the weight of the soul, the cost of desire, choose with wisdom. Plato's tale is not just a myth, it is a warning. If we forget what the soul is, we will return to a life unworthy of it. Chapter 4, Duat and the Weight of the Heart, the Egyptian Way Through Death. In ancient Egypt, the dead did not simply pass, they journeyed through Duat, the underworld of passage, trial, and revelation. And at the journey's end, they came before a scale. Their heart, the core of conscience and memory, was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, goddess of truth. If the heart was heavy with lies, regret, injustice, the soul was devoured by Amit, the eater of the dead. But if the heart was light, pure, balanced, the soul would pass into eternal life. This was not metaphor to the Egyptians. This was law. To forget one's sins was dangerous, but to carry them with understanding, that was the way forward. Because in Egypt, the dead were not forgotten. They were expected to remember. Chapter 5, the Orphic Gold Tablets, Instructions for the Soul. Buried with the dead, hidden on the tongue or near the heart, these were not decorations. They were instructions. The Orphic Gold Tablets are among the strangest and most beautiful relics of ancient Greek religion. Etched into gold foil no thicker than a breath, they give the soul a script, a way to navigate the afterlife. I come from the pure. I belong to the stars. I have paid the price. I am thirsty. Give me the water of memory. These are not poems, they are keys. Because for the Orphics, death is not a silence. It is a labyrinth, and only those who remember their way can escape. And so they taught, learn while you are alive, prepare your soul. Because after death, you must know who you are, and you must remember what to say. Chapter 6, Why Modern Man No Longer Remembers. The ancients remembered, but we have forgotten. Not just our history, but the language of the soul. We live in a time where death is hidden behind curtains, hospitals, euphemisms, where memory is fragmented, where silence is drowned in noise. We no longer prepare for death. We deny it. And in denying it, we lose the very wisdom death was meant to teach. We no longer place gold tablets on our hearts. We place passwords. We no longer bury the body with prayers. We bury it with convenience. But the soul still walks, and if we do not guide it, it will wander, forgetting, returning, lost. Chapter 7, The Secret Meaning of Death Rites. What is a rite of passage if not a map? A ceremony that tells the soul, this is the way. The ancients did not bury their dead in silence. They spoke to them, washed them, dressed them for a journey. They lit fires to guide their path. They laid coins for the ferryman. They told stories not just for the living, but for the one who had passed. Every culture knew. Death is a threshold, and thresholds must be marked. In forgetting this, we don't only dishonor the dead, we dishonor ourselves. For the funeral is not for the corpse, it is for the soul. And the soul, even in death, listens. Chapter 8, To Remember is to Awaken. What if death is not a disappearance but a return? What if we have lived 1,000 lives before this one, and each time forgot a little more? What if the soul is not broken, only asleep? And what if remembering is the act of waking up? The ancients believed memory is the thread that ties the soul to truth. When you forget, you become lost. But when you remember, you come home, not to a place, but to yourself. So ask yourself, if you stood beside the river today, would you drink to forget? Or would you dare to remember? If this story has stirred something in you, if it feels like something ancient is waking, then you've not learned something new. You've remembered. Share this journey. Subscribe for the next. And when the time comes and you reach the river, may you choose wisely. May you drink from memory.